on the lifestyle game CPS Loop. Now, the loop is a system, and I really want you to understand how a system works, how a system operates, and why you want to follow a system for proper, ongoing, duplicatable growth. When you follow a system, you have the ability to have your actions and a very simple duplicatable process followed over and over and over and over again. And what's great is as you follow and as you work this loop, you have the ability through duplication to potentially work yourself completely out of a job. And that is obviously, ongoing income is something that definitely we're all excited about creating. And this system gives you the ability to do so. Now, here's what the system also does. It allows you to get your time back. And why does it allow you to get your time back? Well, you have one or two options here, and that's what this system will provide for you. You can either decide to, number one, be a machine. You can be a machine personally, or number two, you can create a machine. Now, for me, I'm about creating a machine. Now, do I mind being a machine? Absolutely not. To get things started, yes, it is good to become a machine, to work hard, to get after it. But here's what I want you to understand. I don't care, you could be the hardest worker on the planet, but you will never, ever, ever be able to hang with duplication. And that is so incredibly important because I want you to simply understand this. You could run 50 people through the loop every single day, but you'll never keep up with 50 people running just 2 people through the loop every day. And I really hope you understand that. Now, what this system also does is it provides a process of filtering. And filtering is so important, and here's why. There's 350 million people in the United States alone, and our business is in Canada and now overseas. So I'm just going to talk about numbers in the US. 350 million people. Understand this, you only need a small chunk of 350 million people to make a lot of money through the lifestyle game and TrueStar Health. So here's what I want you to understand. It will save you tons of time, energy, effort, money if you are willing to filter out the people that are not looking and not ambitious versus the people that actually are. And it will completely change the dynamic of your business moving forward, how it grows and how it develops. And it's all about sticking with the system. It's all about sticking with the loop. And that's the biggest thing I want to understand before I get into following the technique, because here's what you'll understand. This is a technique. As you walk through each and every one of these steps through the cut, paste, send, which is literally what you're going to be doing, it's just a technique. And a technique is very simple. And it's just going to take you working through that technique until you've mastered it and you know how to transition through each part of the loop. But the philosophy behind it is what's going to make you incredibly productive, and it's what's going to make your business very profitable and very duplicatable long term. And that's what you want to grasp the power of. And that's why this system, so between running the loop, getting people started properly with the 21-day lifestyle guide, and entering level up training will be how your entire business goes, grows, and develops into something absolutely fantastic. So with that, we're going to go ahead and get started. So loop step number one. Loop step number one is just identifying your network. Now, obviously, as we teach and the things that we've done in society, we heavily favor social media, your social network, if you will. Why? Because you have the ability basically to bring everyone together under one umbrella. All of society is pretty much there anyway. Now, that does not mean you cannot follow this loop through, texting, emails, face-to-face. That's all highly encouraged. And obviously, if you can get face-to-face with somebody, that's going to be your number one option. But I will tell you this. With the way society has changed and people's lifestyles, I'll tell you one way you can be guaranteed that you can reach out to people. And what's awesome is they can get a feel for you because of how we live our lives now through social media. So when I say identifying your social network, this is really just identifying your network, period. So anyone and everyone you know, whether they fall into the category of an A list, B list, or C list. And an A list is simply people that you know immediate. That's immediate friends and family. The second is your B list. That's people that you are acquaintances of. They know of you, you know of them. That's probably a majority of our list on Facebook and other social networks. And then lastly is your C list. Those are people that you just flat out haven't met yet. Those people all over the world. Those are people we want to meet every single day. We want to continue to grow our network and to make our network obviously very powerful. So there's two options here with TrueStar Health and the lifestyle game. As you can see, option A and option B. Now, if you've seen the FSP 411 webinar, it obviously breaks down the different categories in which we operate. Now, I will just simply tell you this. I'm not going to spend any time on option B, which is TrueStar Health, because that is something that is specifically designed for health and fitness professionals. And at that point, at any time, you can send them directly to TrueStarHealthProfessional.com, and they can get all the information that they need to be able to find out how to implement our traditional TrueStar Health software, nutrition center, professional portal directly into their business. Now, here's one thing that I want to encourage. As you identify, and this is very important because this can be very, very, very profitable for your business, it's very important that you do identify people that are in your immediate network that do fall into that category. And then it's important that you reach out to your coach, somebody that you're working with, okay, somebody that sponsored you, and they will get in touch with with who you need to get in touch with to be able to present to these individuals in this space, because really it's a very custom conversation, and what we're going to find out is specifically how they operate their business, and at that point we'll be able to set up a specific implementation into their business. And basically we've become very, very successful at being able to implement our system and our platform, which is what this industry, it was designed for their industry. So it's definitely something you want to identify and cherry pick these individuals out of your network, identify them, and then take that list to your coach so that we can properly address and approach those individuals. So majority thing we're going to stick to right now is category A. That's option A, and that is the lifestyle game, okay? And that is literally every single person. And there's probably going to be a lot of people in there that do fall into the category of health and fitness professional, and you maybe just don't know it. That's fine. It's okay to start the loop process with them, because what's awesome is through the process of taking them through this loop, I promise you, we give them plenty of opportunities and highlight plenty of opportunities of the TrueStar Health opportunity for their business as well. So don't worry about that. Just run through the loop and we'll go right into it. So loop step number 2, after you've identified your network, now we're going to move right into your very first cut, paste, and send. And when I mean cut, paste, and send, I literally mean you can simply save this as a note on your phone or on your computer. That's what I do. And you literally just cut, paste, and send. The only part you're really going to cater and make custom to the individual is their name. You just fill their name there in the blank. So, hey, John, if you could play a game that kept you accountable to your health/fitness and get paid to simply share it socially, would that interest you? ? This platform just launched and timing is key. Now, here's just a quick tip for you. You do not have to build, if you haven't talked to somebody in like 5 years, you don't have to build rapport with them before you send this. And here's why: because it's not real. It's not authentic. If you wanted to know about their kids and what they were doing over the past 5 years, since high school or whatever, you would have reached out to them before this. So don't make it unreal and unauthentic by trying to build this fake rapport just to drop this question on them. Just be direct. Just bam right at them. I'm telling you, I've done this many, many, many times, and they're either fall into the category of, hey, that sounds like a fantastic concept, I'd like to know more, or no response or nothing at all. And that's okay, because that's exactly what the filter was meant to do. It was meant to filter people that think it's a great concept and want to go to loop step number 3, and people that don't. So very simply put, you don't need to build rapport. You literally just need to cut, paste, and send. Loop step number 3. Cut, paste, send the video. And the video is just a lifestyle game video. Right there, you've got the link. You can access it. You can grab that link right off our MoveOn3.com website or off of our TrueStar YouTube channel. Now, this is very simple. You literally just send over, because the responses, as you saw back here, and I'm going to back up one step to loop step number 2. At the bottom, I forgot to mention, you can see all the responses. I just put some example or responses that people are going to send back. Sure, I could use both the accountability and the money. Sounds interesting. What are the details? Sure, absolutely. That would be interesting. So on and so forth. So once they respond with that response, and here's the deal, any response is great, because you got a response. And no matter what the response, typically, I'm still sending the next step. Loop step number 3, I'm cutting, pasting, and sending exactly what you see before you, the lifestyle game, then the link, and and the last thing that's on that cut, paste, send is get back to me right after you watch it. Very simple. And then on to loop step number 4, because you literally, right after they watch, they're going to, hey, I watched the video. Now, sometimes you're going to have to follow up and follow through. okay? Well, actually, not sometimes, almost every time. There's probably going to be very few times where you have a perfect loop transition from loop steps 1 to loop step number 6, okay? That is going to be just bam, bam, bam. It's going to be very rare. The name of the game in this thing is follow up and follow through. The fortune is in the follow up. And here's one great thing that I take away from one of the guys I really follow and really study, and that's Grant Cardone. He talks about, listen, people don't even take you serious or your product or your offering serious until you followed up with them at least 3 times. So keep that in mind. As you're taking somebody through this loop process, it's going to naturally filter people, but you have to remember, people are people, life is happening, and people are just, I forget things all the time. So you must be persistent and consistent in your follow-up process, okay? So don't be afraid to hit up people and say, hey, have you had an opportunity to watch the video? Hey, have you had an opportunity to watch the video? Hey, you can basically don't be afraid to follow up and follow through every step of the process. People are busy, and remember, always keep that in the back of your mind. Until I followed up on each one of these loop processes at least 3 times, they haven't even taken me seriously yet, okay? So loop step number 4, cut, paste, send, bam. Now we've got to the point where, listen, if they've responded to the concept and they say, that's a fantastic concept, and yes, I'd like to get more information, sounds interesting, whatever the response is, and then they've watched the video, and at that point they let you know, awesome, I watched the video, great, what's next? At that point, here's what you got to understand. It's a done deal. They are interested. They are interested, and at this point, they are just getting the details to get enrolled, to get started. Okay? The filtering process has done what it is supposed to do. The filtering process through just loop steps number 2 and 3 will naturally filter out the people that are looking, for the people that aren't looking, from the people that are time wasters to the people that are serious and ambitious. It will all happen the way it's supposed to, because I want you to understand, this is a movement, okay? This is not something that you sell people on. You don't have to sell people on getting fit and healthy. You don't have to sell people on creating an incredibly powerful network. You don't have to sell people on getting paid and making money, or at least you don't want to, because always remember this. A man or woman convinced against their will is still a man or woman unconvinced. And if you sell them once, you're going to have to sell them next month and then next month and then next month. And now you're going to have a job. And most people, they do something like this because they want to get out of their current job. They don't like what they're doing, okay? This is meant to be a movement. And this system, if you follow it properly and take yourself out of the mindset of begging and selling and put yourself in a mindset of offering and sharing, it'll change everything. Because like I said, there's 350 million people just in the United States alone. If you will be willing to just run those individuals through this loop process and work with the people that want to be worked with, and the people that want to get fit, and the people that want to get social, and the people that want to get paid, your business will grow 10 times faster and be 10 times more stable than anyone else that does not follow with that same philosophy and that same principle, okay? So I want you to understand that's probably the most important thing that I could say during this entire training is that. So at this point, now we're just going to get them the options to get started, okay? We're going to get them the information, if you will, to get started, and that is this. Option number 1. Great. It's another cut, paste, send. Great. Here are all the details from the creator of the game, www.fsp411. Now, when you send them www.fsp411.com, that is actually a video. That is our FSP. That is our Fit Social Paid 411 webinar. Okay, it's only about 18 minutes long, but it gives them the details. It gives them everything they need to know to, bam, get enrolled. So after you, and the last thing you're going to add to that is after you watch this, I can send you the link to set up your free account. Okay. So that's option number 1. Option number 2, for those of you that can actually get face-to-face with somebody, or you know this person well enough that maybe you don't want to send a webinar and you'd like to do it yourself, or you think that maybe you show the webinar way better than I do on that one, go for it. 100% encourage you. Whatever you do, the only thing that you could do wrong is not do anything at all, because then, then nothing works, obviously. So option number 2 is you just show it one-on-one yourself. Obviously, you could do that on a screen share, or you could do that face-to-face. So there's your next option for cut, paste, send. So loop step number 4. Now loop step number 5. Great. So at that point, they've responded to the initial script. They've responded to the lifestyle game video. They've responded and got all the information in the webinar. And now you're at the point where, great, let's get your game set up. Let's get your account set up. And at that point, we're going in, we're getting their lifestyle game account set up. And at this point, you simply send them your personal link. It down here at the bottom, you simply go right into, log into your back office. You take and now they're all personalized and customized to your vanity name. So it will be thelifestylegame.com/ whatever your vanity name is. So make sure you're sending them your personal link so that they are registered to you within the game, and bam, create your free account. So let me know as soon as you do. I would like to introduce you to, bam, whoever your coach is, whoever your active growing coaches that you're working with. Maybe it's your sponsor, maybe it's somebody up from your sponsor that sponsored them. Whoever you're working with and whoever's growing their business and helping and working with you, you want to introduce that person, okay? You want to get third-party credibility in there as soon as possible, because what it's going to do is it's just going to give this person more trust and faith in the system and in you, because it's just going to basically be more edification and promotion on the entire process and the entire system. So, bam, who is one of the leaders in the company and blowing the big money game up? That's obviously edifying, promoting that individual you want to introduce them to. So loop tip, okay, this is a tip for a three-way call. When you're setting up a three-way call, give your coach a heads up for the three-way call and a quick rundown of who they're actually going to be talking to. B, get your prospect on the phone and then dial your coach in on the phone. That's simply how you do a three-way call, but it's best to get your prospect on first and then your coach, because your coach, at the point, you want to respect their time, okay? You only have one coach, you've got tons of prospects, so just think of it that way. C, properly introduce your coach to your prospect and then your prospect to your coach, because the key here is you want to edify and promote and brag on your coach to your prospect, but just as important, you want to do the reverse. You want to brag on your prospect to your coach, and you want to do that while they're on the phone, because, I mean, that's just people skills 101. You want to make people feel good. I mean, there's nothing better than them getting excited about the opportunity at hand and then getting talked about right off the bat and being edified, promoted, and encouraged right out. And it's just awesome. And that will really help you out. And then lastly, be excited and support your coach on the call. There may be many times when you can, interject and maybe mention some things that maybe your coach doesn't know about the prospect that maybe you do. So help your coach out as much as you possibly can. That's just some tips for you. Loop step number 6, tour and enroll. This is the fun part, okay? Show them how to maximize their game by playing and sharing. So actually give them a tour through the game, whether you got to do it on a screen share or their computer or just you be on your phone, them on theirs, whatever. This is super important, okay? And then B, give a sneak peek to your back office and then your matrix spot. There's just something so powerful about walking somebody in, showing them your back office, and then showing them your matrix. I don't care if you have nobody in your matrix or if you have 1,000 people in your matrix. Just showing them the next spot that they're going to take and the people around them, and hey, you got a chance to have my first spot. Hey, you get a chance to be in a killer growing matrix. Either way, it's great. And there's just something about seeing and identifying the spot that they're going to take, okay? And then C, get enrolled. You want to get them enrolled right then and there. And then lastly, this is something that's optional. You can introduce them to the creator of the game once they've got enrolled, which is myself, Brian James, via a three-way call or a Facebook message, okay? Now, the reason that's important is because, I can encourage them to start taking action right out of the gate, and just, you have the ability to, I'm making this something that's, totally available to everyone to take advantage of. I would love to meet new people getting started. I would love to just pump them up with as much light and sunshine and encouragement as I possibly can. I love doing that, and anything I can do to help support your business and help your business grow faster, I would love to do that. So that's just something that's optional for you. And then loop step number 7, this is the last step of the loop. Welcome them to the team, okay? Welcome them, and then you got to help them start the loop process. And here's how you do it. Simple, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Number 1, add them to the True Star Movement Facebook group and welcome. Now, here's another great thing you can do. Add them to all the other pages too. So add them to the other groups, whether it be a fit. Maybe you've already added them to the fit group, whatever. But the movement team page, that's the most important one that you could add them to that group. And give them a proper introduction. There's nothing better than giving somebody a proper introduction to the team, okay? Number 2, set them up on mobile alerts. Mobile alerts are huge because of our level up training, because of different events and things that we have going. We can always We can always make sure that they're being alerted on the things that they need to know just by properly being set up on mobile alerts. Number 3, give them a tour of our Move on 3. Give them a tour of our team website. That's so important because that's the resource they're going to use to get to all of our social media stuff, to get all the trainings, insights, all the information, the events that we're doing, all the info. That's like the one-stop shop for everything that they need to know, team-wise, growth-wise, just everything, okay? Number 4, intro them to the loop system. It's so important that you help them understand the philosophy of this loop, how to run it, and obviously you can just send them this video. So that's an easy way to do number 4. And then number 5, we got a video for that one too, but this is the one that you really want to sit down and make sure they understand. So you could send them this video, the 21-day lifestyle guide video, and then sit down with them and walk them through. Say, hey, you got any questions or anything I need to, because this is a very simple process. We really want to get this on point on your first 21 days because this is gonna really help the development and growth of your game and your network and your business. So something very important. Lastly, loop tips. Okay, 4 tips to increase results. Number 1, if you get hung up anywhere in the loop, send a voice message or Facebook Messenger or give your prospect a call. Then you'll be able to transfer feeling excitement while engaging and questioning questions and concerns. After 5 to 10 minutes on the phone, who knows? You may have a new enrollment. So what that simply means is, yes, the whole society is text, and many times you'll call people 50 times and then you'll text them and they'll text you right back. And I know that's how it is, but here's the thing. It raises the level of expectation, and I think the level of how important something is. So, number 1, you can use Facebook Messenger, the voice capability. You can only leave a 60-second message, but sometimes just hearing your voice, because this is where, as you hear in our CEO's trainings, he talks about transference of energy. The excitement and the transference of energy that you can relay to somebody and transfer to somebody, that's huge, okay? So anytime that you can take advantage through the loop process of sending and using your voice, it's huge. You definitely want to take advantage of that, or obviously giving them a call if that's an option. Tip number 2, if you're trying to get your prospect on a 3-way call, or you had them on a 3-way call with myself or your coach, just, this is mainly set up for your coach. Obviously, if you're working with me, that's the same way, or, if you want to introduce. But here's the most important thing you could do. Number 1 is to suggest them as a friend to your coach on Facebook, and then always, and I'm 100% putting this out here, introduce them to me. Every single prospect that you have, introduce them, suggest them as a friend of mine on Facebook, and here's why. I will validate this system for you. I will validate, because here's the deal. I live the game. I am the game. My hashtag is be the game. I am the game 24/7. I am TrueStar Health 24/7. I live and breathe and eat and do everything else this business, this industry. I absolutely love it, okay? So I promise you, by introducing them to me, by adding them, they're going to see this business being lived out every single day. And obviously my goal is to encourage and inspire them, and obviously do the best that I can to help you. So, help me help you. And it's very simple. Number 3, if they expressed interest after the 3-way call, but you haven't quite been able to lock them down on their enrollment, send them a message letting them know you're going to give them a special invite. So these are people that are basically, they're on the fence. You're just trying to get them into enrollment, which we know and think now a financial transaction needs to take place. Yes, I completely understand. Sometimes this is the hardest part of the following up and following through process. Trust me, I understand. And people's financial outlook, it changes. I mean, it used to be every 3 months. Honestly, now it's probably every 2 weeks that somebody, because everybody, so many people, the large percentage, you can look at the statistics, live paycheck to paycheck. So that means that if they get paid every 2 weeks, things can drastically change every 2 weeks. So the follow-up and follow-through process right before enrollment is going to be the most important follow-up and follow-through process. So what's awesome is to encourage them maybe a little bit more. You can always let them know, hey, they've committed, but they've committed, verbally and whatever, but they maybe haven't committed yet through financial. You can give them a special invite to the Movement Team Facebook group. Just do not give them an official welcome. Reason being is if they get on there, all they're going to see is new enrollments, success, how simple things are, encouragement, and that just may be another thing that would help obviously get them enrolled. And then lastly, you may have to physically sit down with your newly enrolled brand ambassador and either A, help them with the cut, paste, send system, or get a couple names and numbers that you can start the process with third party. I know Josh Vire and a few other guys, they literally just take people's phones, or they get together in huddles and switch up phones. Because here's the thing, the biggest problem sometimes with people, and I do this too, is prejudging. You're like, man, I do not want to cut, paste, send this script to this guy. And I'm telling you, almost every time I've prejudged somebody, I can almost kick myself in the butt every time, because I was wrong. My prejudging was wrong every single time. And what's awesome, if you just hand out your phone off to somebody else and say, hey man, just send this to everybody on my list, they don't know who they are, so they're not going to prejudge anyone. And that's just kind of an additional tip, kind of funny tip, but I'll be honest with you, it works every single time. So with that, those are some tips that you can use to be a little bit more productive through the Loop system. Here's the bottom line: have fun with this thing. This thing's meant to be fun. This thing is meant to be implemented into your everyday life. You commit, we will take you at any commitment level, whether you decide to take a couple people through the Loop or you decide to take everybody through the Loop. Understand this, it's a simple process. It doesn't take much time. It does take persistence and consistent. It takes what we call slight edge actions, just doing a little bit every day. If you're willing to run the marathon, we're not asking anybody to do a 40-yard dash. We're not asking anybody to do a sprint. If you will just literally make this a fun walk in the park that you turn into a long-term marathon and just take people through this system, you will literally work yourself right out of your job. You'll work yourself right out of time and money problems. You'll work yourself right out of all those things that you've always that have always held you back. This is an opportunity to have an incredible duplicatable system, and it's a very simple loop. And the loop never ends. It just continues to go. It loops over and over and over again with every new person that you get started. So with that, there's your loop training.